Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton. She knows everything about Georgia real estate, and this show is designed for you to call in 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Call in with all your real estate questions. That's what the show is designed for. Call in with all your real estate questions, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Deborah
we have
Morton.
questions, and I don't know that I've got answers because there's so much happening in the world. If you want your real estate questions answered, happy to answer about that. But what is going on with rates and Congress and legislation? And
Let's start with the new Fed chair. We have a new Fed chair. Let's start there.
We do, and I got to attend a fantastic training this week, hosted. I do a lot of training on these things, but I try to pick and follow and learn from the very best experts in their field. So this week, in the industry, a lot of people know Barry Habib. He is kind of a expert economic forecaster.
Okay.
So I really follow closely him and a few others so I can tell what's happening and what's going to happen in 2026. Every time I meet somebody, they want to know, how's the market? Well, how's the market? Is all about mortgage rates, inventory levels, and wages. How much money people have to spend when it comes to buying a house. So, how's the market is the top thing, and we are still growing inventory. Rates are dipped below 6% this week, which is very exciting for all the buyers. There's some estimates that there are 5.5 million people could re-enter the buying pool if rates were to come down a full point.
Now, where are rates right now?
Rates have been hovering right around 6%.
Okay.
But there's a psychological factor in people's brains about, I can't afford a house if it's over 6%,
Gotcha.
or I'm not willing to make a move.
Is that the number 6, or is it because it was 8? Like
a year ago it was 6.75.
Okay.
And now we're just edging out, like we're in the 5.9s. And we're talking about a 30-year fixed rate.
Gotcha.
There are other types of mortgages that you could take. What we're looking at, though, because it's a psychological number, if rates stay in the 5s, let's say we'll use 5.75, people think, I can afford it. And now they enter the market, we are going to see more demand. That could cause housing prices to increase again, where they are very flat and stable right now because sellers are sitting waiting for somebody to write an offer on their home.
Right.
So if we have more buyers enter the market, that's a fine line we walk all the time. It's a teeter-totter, and we watch it all the time. So people think that there's a big difference in their monthly payment, and there is. I'm not ignorant to the pain people are feeling with their monthly payments, but $100 here or there, like, you can refinance in the future. And housing prices right now are very stable, and there are deals to be had. So a buyer would be very smart to enter the market today before rates come down further, and the Fed chair has changed. It's a very interesting Fed group who'll be voting on whether we reduce rates or not.
Right.
There is a lot of balance in the marketplace because the Fed doesn't set mortgage rates.
Right, you say that all the
based
time,
on the
right.
Treasury bill, and we watch how that goes. But we're kind of coming into a perfect storm where we have inventory, rates are stabilized, and it's balanced in favor of buyers today. It could tip the other way back to sellers, but overall, let me give some good news. Overall, the market is stable, and somebody who needs to sell or buy a home, it is very predictable right now. It's very easy for me to predict what's going to happen.
So explain that, what you mean by that. It's very predictable.
There are no crazy fluctuations happening.
Understood.
Now,
okay.
World, we know
right.
things flare up in the world,
right.
and if
i.e. Saturday, Mary Ryan's going to cover it for us in a couple minutes.
Right. So things happen in the world that are not predictable, but if I can look at inventory levels right now and buyer demand, and I can easily predict how long a house is going to take to sell, and it is taking longer. I can easily predict what a buyer is going to offer on a seller's property based on what it is, because it's all data driven.
Understood.
Which brings us to the technology changes.
Right.
So what's happening is we have all this AI input into the real estate world now, and AI is doing the predictions that an expert like me can do. Now, is it perfect? Not yet. But who knows over the next couple of years how that.
When you talk about the data is heating up, explain to the listener, to the audience, what you mean by data. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's all kinds of data points. So what I'm talking about, there is a battle going on right now for ownership over consumer data. And think about all of us who we scroll Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com. We're online looking, but we're also shopping for shoes and cars and all kinds of things. So all of the cookies, all of the data collection that has been going on for years now is put into databases, and it's predictive analytics that is what they're fighting over. What the current battle this week was an interesting shift. There is talk about creating a national MLS. So, all of our listings are syndicated through a multiple listing service, and that data is owned by the MLSs, and they're regional. So in Georgia, in the area I work, in metropolitan area, we have 2 MLS systems we use. That system does not extend to, say, Savannah. It doesn't necessarily extend up to North Georgia, or I should say, my system does, but there are other systems in North Georgia, Savannah. If you're in Florida or Tennessee or Kentucky, they have their own MLS systems. So the third-party vendors like Zillow and Realtor.com, they have a syndication agreement with the MLSs. That's how you can look on Zillow to find a home in California while you sit in your lazy boy in your living room in Georgia.
Right.
The MLSs, there is a battle right now to get rid of the MLSs and to create one national. Zillow wants to do that. Zillow wants everybody on their platform, and other groups want to not allow Zillow in it. It's all over money and data. It's a huge power play, and who knows what's going to happen. I'm just watching it very carefully, and every week something else changes.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Those are the numbers to call. Deborah Morton, she's the owner and broker and operator of the agency Atlanta. She knows everything about Georgia real estate. The name of the show is Inside Georgia Real Estate. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. The data, like you said, when you buy shoes, all of these things, right? But the data that's the war is over. What is the problem if one company
it's about
owns
money and power.
That's it.
It's always about money and power.
How does it hurt the consumer?
It does, and that's what we need to talk about.
Let's talk about that
how
next.
does it impact when you're selling your home?
Absolutely. That's coming up next. When we come back, Deborah's going to answer that question. How is all of this big fight over your data, how does it impact your efforts to buy or sell a home? Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton. We can answer that question when we come back. But Ken from Brookhaven has a great question. Deborah, Ken, go ahead, ask your question, my friend.
Ken.
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for taking my call. Quick, I am looking to sell. It's an older house built in 52. It's been updated, but I really just want to sell. I think it's a knockdown, and I'm just thinking that I'm wondering the best approach.
In Brookhaven, it could be a knockdown. So what I look
What's
at...
a knockdown?
It means that the value of the land is more important than the house itself.
Understood.
So you got these older homes, have been great homes, but in that area, in lots of places in Brookhaven, the land has so much value. You knock the house down and you rebuild new, and the price points warrant it. Now, there are other places, let's say...
When you say the price points warranted, can you explain that to Ken and others?
Yeah, well, Ken knows because he lives in Brookhaven. The value of homes in Brookhaven justify, you could easily take a $500,000 home, for a 3/4 acre lot with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on it that's older and needs updates at value of selling it as it is might be $500,000, but you sell it and then somebody can build a house that is worth 1.5 to
Understood.
2.5 million.
Right. So you might as well do that.
It makes or he has options.
Gotcha.
But I'm just going to say, based on location, that doesn't apply for everybody. So you always hear me say, well, it depends. This is, somebody who lives in Lawrenceville that has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch on a 3/4 acre lot. An as-is sale is different than what Ken's talking about. Ken, please send me a message on InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, and we can talk at length about what your options are, because there are also people who want to buy older homes like yours as well. It might be a knockdown, but my job as a realtor is to help establish what the highest and best use of the land is, and I can help you with that.
Fantastic. I sure will. I'll send a message today.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
It's InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, Ken. All right. Thanks for listening to to Inside Georgia Real Estate, Ken. Have a wonderful day.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Let's go to Frank, another Lawrenceville. Frank.
Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Thanks for taking the call.
Hey, Frank.
I have, 2 questions. Primarily, people are complaining about interest rates. However, interest rates were at 6% for 60-some-odd years before the crash, the 08 crash. So if you have interest rates go down to 3% again, the reason they went down is because the government gave them liquidity, and they paid them 3% for lending them our money.
Frank, do you have a question?
Yes. I was just curious why people expect interest rates to go down so low.
It's psychological. It is. No, it is. Because they had it at once, they want it back. And people who currently live in a home with a 3% interest rate, it doesn't make sense for them to move. They may want to move. A move might be right for them. But how can they justify letting go of a 3% rate and what they've been paying to move into a house that costs more money and they're going to pay a higher interest rate on? The math doesn't math for them.
I understand, but if banks can't make a profit, they won't exist. And my second question is, what happens to housing values after an inflationary spiral?
So what happened during those 3% during the pandemic, the 3% rates? Real estate went crazy, and that's why housing prices shot up. There are some places around Atlanta that the home prices doubled in the last 10 years. The values were disproportionately high, and we are feeling the consequences of that now. If home values went up 15 to 20% year over year for 3 years, that's the affordability problem we have now. So, okay, interest rates are back at the traditionally 6% over the last 40 years. That's what interest rates cost. And I mean, compared to commercial credit, it's pretty cheap.
Right.
But the prices of the houses are so much higher now because of that 3-year period of inflation, appreciated prices.
Yeah, I get that. And I think to myself, though, look what happened to your dollar. The value of the houses are worth more, not because they're worth more. They're worth more because the dollar has gone down in value.
So what's the question again, Frank? Frank, what's the question again? Because let's hold on. I want to answer. I want to say this. I want to say this real quick. We'll keep you on hold if you want to, but you asked the question, why do people expect interest rates to go down? And I think Deborah had a great answer. People who are in a house that they bought at 3% want it where it was at 3%, so they can buy a bigger house or a smaller house.
Well, and people think that when I sell my house, I'm going to downsize into a smaller house. It shouldn't cost more.
It shouldn't cost more.
But it does.
It does, right.
So that's the dilemma. And if anybody has the solution to make it easy, I'd love to hear it. What I have to do is help people make it make sense. You're in too big a house. I can sell it for top dollar, but you're going to have to replace it with something. And I have to help them wrap their head around why the math makes sense. It's not just about the math. It's about quality of life.
Right.
Do you want to be closer to your grandchildren? Do you want to be in a stepless home? Do you want to have less maintenance? Those are the things that really impact the quality of life.
Right. No, I get it. I totally get it. And it's interesting how yes, you can look at it black and white. This is what it is. This is what it's going to be. But when you're purchasing a home, you talk about this all the time. Community, emotion, feel, all of those emotions.
Lifestyle,
right. All of those things that come into it that have no bearing on this is what's going to be. It's the interest rate. You don't want to have...
matters, but it's not the only part of the conversation.
Absolutely. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Those are the numbers to call to ask Deborah Morton. She's the expert. She's the broker, owner of the agency Atlanta, and she's the expert on all things Georgia real estate. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK.
Hey, it's Parker Posey. How did I get here? I love improvisation when it comes to acting, but when it comes to a real-life plan, I stick to a script. Cue the music.
Invest in your story with DIA, the only ETF that tracks the Dow. From State Street. Getting there starts here. Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. DIA is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. Alps Distributors, Inc. Distributor.
Inside Georgia Real Estate with Shelly Winter and Deborah Morton. Deborah Morton's the owner, broker, and the primary primary realtor at the agency Atlanta.
The agency Atlanta has wonderful agents and support
but you're the primary
team.
agent.
I am, yes, but I'm here as the spokesperson for all of us.
Okay, all right. She's the spokesperson for the agency Atlanta. The name of the show is Inside Georgia Real Estate. You can go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com if you have a question that you can't get through on the line to ask. So just go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Deborah, before we went to the last break, you were talking about this data fight, the fight over your data. That fight that you talked about, how does that impact?
It's not just data, it's just control over the real estate marketplace. The residential real estate marketplace there is a battle going on. It's been going on for a couple of years, but it's really heating up and it's moving faster than ever. And how that how that impacts, I think my assessment of it, I'll just throw it out there, is that 2026, consumers are not going to feel it over much yet. But by 2027 and beyond, I expect to see massive change in how real estate is conducted and handled because of the AI data and technology. There are so many cool advancements in technology and AI just in how we video a home, how we present a home, the 3D walkthroughs and tours. And it used to be just having a floor plan was wonderful. And then we added some drone work so you can see the neighborhood and stuff. What we have now coming with AI is literally a walkthrough as if you had VR goggles on, where you can walk through a home, not just the home, but the neighborhood as well. So there's so much coming in technology, and that's all cool. But the companies that develop and own this technology, they're not altruistic. It's not charity. They're doing it so the pay-to-play component of marketing homes for sale has changed.
Right.
I spend a lot more money per home now. Every home we sell has a higher ticket price for me. At the same time, compensation compression has happened from class action lawsuits and everything. So there's a squeeze, not, oh, poor me, I'm a realtor.
Right.
I understand what the public perception is about that. Now, on the other side, the companies who put out, I'm talking Zillow and Homes and Realtor and all the brokerages that have these platforms where consumers search homes. If I am hired to sell your home, Shelly, it is my job to make sure your home is visible in as many places as possible to bring you the highest possible offer or the most appropriate offer for your home. So if there are restrictions put in place on us when we market homes because the big portals are fighting, that is going to impact the job we do.
Absolutely.
And every consumer needs to be aware that they have to ask about these things. Because in the past, it's just been like, oh, well, I'll list my home for sale. It'll be on the MLS. If the MLSs go away or change or restrict access, it restricts the visibility, and the consumers aren't going to know to ask these things.
So let me ask you this, because it seems like what I'm hearing you say, if I don't get the right realtor,
Yes.
If I don't get the right,
it's always been the case. If you hire,
but I'm saying in terms of marketing, if I don't get the right realtor in terms of marketing, I may put my home up for sale thinking it's everywhere, and it's really not.
Correct. That is now, that has always been, there's always been agents out there who will take a listing and not spend money and not do what they do. We all know they exist. They give us all a bad name. I think even the good agents in the coming next couple of years are going to have to work very hard to make sure that their clients' homes are in the places they want to be. Secondly, let's go to the flip side of this. If you want to sell your home, but you don't want it blasted out all over the internet, and you want to do a quiet listing or a private listing, right now that the battle is happening is I could be penalized on some of the portals if I don't allow your home to be broadcast out on Zillow. Zillow could penalize me and never let me be visible. Wow. So it's so ridiculous.
It is,
yes.
but let me say this. Really, what really burns me up, I guess, what I'm getting ready to say is, that impacts us, the consumer. Yes. Yet another situation where these big corporations are making it harder for the consumer, which is the sole purpose for these corporations to exist.
They are publicly traded companies that their obligation is to their shareholders. And their job is to make money for their shareholders.
Right.
And we all benefit from having, Zillow's a cool tool. Homeses.com's a cool tool. There's a lot of cool tools out there, but they don't do it for free.
Right.
And who's paying for it?
But you were able to do a lot. You were able to sell homes for thousands of years before all of this.
I could still just Shelly, you can stick a sign in your yard and try to sell your home. The question is who's going to see it and who's going to negotiate in your favor and protect you through the process.
Absolutely.
I still stand by all of the wonderful agents that are out there across Metro Atlanta. There are people who are committed to making sure that their clients have the best experience, they're protected, and it's a smooth transaction. Those people don't get enough accolades. I'm giving all the good agents out there a shout out right now, but every industry is feeling the squeeze because of AI and technology. Look at, I don't know if you're following the Anthropic, with
the Defense Department.
Defense Department. It's not just real estate where these changes, what we're up against, but I work in real estate, and I feel like I have a responsibility and a duty to my clients and my team of professionals that work with me to make sure I stay on top of the fast-moving pace of change.
Right.
So I can stay on top of it. You know, the Wall Street versus Main Street thing with Trump's his charge to get
institutional investors out of real estate.
Out of real estate. Well, I also see a benefit to institutional investors because there's a lot of old junky homes out there that people don't want to buy, but we need houses. Those institutional investors that flip them, they actually rehab them and put them back into the marketplace where regular people aren't able to, whatever. So it's trade-offs, like we were just talking about. There's trade-offs to everything. My
hero I talked about last night. There are no solutions, only trade-offs. That was said by the great Thomas Sowell.
Right.
And but so when you talk about the institutional investors and think, I guess for us regular people, right, non-realtors, just regular people sitting and watching the world, I'm interested in maybe selling my home and talking about the real estate, and I find out that, man, I've really got to I have to make the right choice on whom I select to represent me, because there will be people who say, okay, yes, I'm marketing it. They can show it on Zillow, but it's not enough of an investment to market it where it's only being seen by 100 people, whatever. That's essentially what you're saying. And then you go
to the next step. I was showing homes in Buckhead this morning.
Right.
And when there is trouble accessing a house and you can't reach the listing agent, there's still old school. So we can talk about technology all day long.
Right.
But when I'm bringing a buyer to a home and we can't access the home because the lockbox is broken, the instructions are wrong, there's a security gate that won't open. There are a lot of reasons, old school wise, you still have to have confidence in your listing agent, and your listing agent has to answer their phone like good old days.
Right, like the good old days. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Deborah, you said you were in Buckhead today.
Yes.
We've had this conversation before on the show about condos and and how they're kind of changing, and people, whatever the issues around condos. Can we talk about that when we come back?
We
in a
sure
short
can.
segment?
I love talking about the condo market.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the condo market, because that might be, I'm getting older. I've got a lot of space where I live, and I'm getting older. I'm thinking, why don't I just get a condo?
Yeah, or we can put you in some active adult living too, Shelly. It's a lifestyle choice that you might just love.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And we need to address that, because your reaction says everything.
I'm never doing this show again. Deborah
Why
Morton,
do you think active adults equates old?
No, it doesn't. It's 55 plus. But the thing is, it's saying to me.
Oh, we're going to dive into this when we come back.
It's telling
Absolutely.
me. It's telling me without a shadow of a doubt, Shelly, it's time to start to wind it down.
No, we're going to address this, because you're missing a great opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Shelly Winter moves in active adult housing.
It's coming.
It's over. We'll be right back. Shelly Winter Show live. Oh, wow. Sorry. Inside Georgia Real Estate. I'm sorry, I did it. I do that once a month.
All right, I'll take over from here, Shelly.
Go ahead, Deborah. Go ahead, Deborah.
Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton and Shelly Winter.
So I reacted in a crazy way.
No, in a normal way.
Go ahead, explain.
Your reaction to, we're talking about active adult communities, and Shelly thinks he wants to move. Shelly, let's talk about your reaction. You had an immediate, visceral reaction.
I did.
I'm not old.
Right, I'm not old, and it's because, and I know I am, but
You're
I know
not.
I'm not.
You're not. It's this perception that active adult is like a memory care unit.
Exactly, it's
and
like a nursing home.
It is not. It is more like luxury estate living and lifestyle choice. So when you think about moving, it's because, what are you tired of with your current home?
Nothing. I love my home. It's nothing. It's just space. It's a lot of space for me. I love it, but it's a lot of space for me.
It's just a lot of space. With that space comes cleaning, heating, cooling, exterior maintenance, lawn care, taxes.
Right. All of that.
Yep. And the difference is the active adult communities, sometimes people react like you, like, oh, I would never consider it. Instead of, it's more of a lock and leave lifestyle where you have no exterior.
Explain that. Lock and leave.
You like to travel. You just told me you're going to Costa Rica for your niece's wedding.
Right.
You travel a lot, Shelly.
Gotcha.
I know you well enough to. So when you travel a lot, your home still, the maintenance, the upkeep, everything has to still happen, but you want to spend your time off traveling. You don't want to worry about lawn care and maintenance and are the gutters been cleaned out, all of those things. So that's what a community like this offers, is a lifestyle choice where you come in, it's still spacious, you still have good storage, but you don't necessarily need a 5-bedroom house with stairs.
Right.
And being stepless.
Because now
you just had, what was that surgery you had last year?
Hip surgery. See, you just reminded me that I'm old.
Is it old, or is it just
No,
natural?
it's old.
Yeah.
No, it's old. It's old.
Well, then
No,
you got to work on your mindset.
I'm just kidding.
But an active adult community offers options for people who are not ready for assisted living or memory care, where there's health issues related. It is just a different type of community that is relaxed and easy.
Let me ask you this. Is there a financial benefit to buying into that situation? Like, are there lower mortgages, better deals? You know what I mean?
Well, it depends where you want to look as well, because we have options all over the metro Atlanta area. And, if you want a different lifestyle, but you actually are not old and you don't need any medical assistance, it is a great option where you get new construction, better quality. You get great amenities. But some of these communities have not just a pool, but pickleball courts and clubhouses and activities. You know, I know you're trying to meet a new girlfriend.
Right.
That could be a good option, too.
Right. But that's another problem. They're all my age. I'm just kidding.
Okay, that's separate. Separate story. We're way off point now. But the point is, I talk to people every day who don't want to think about the options they have. A condo might be a good option for you, an active adult community. The next step for me would be to have a sit at the kitchen table. Let's talk about what you want your life to look like in the next 5 to 10 years. Because you're not so old that you've got a lot of living left in you, and you don't need to move in with family members. You don't need, or maybe we keep you in your current house that you love, and you can pull your equity out of it and buy a second home. Right. Buy a vacation home. Like, that's an option as well. Managing your investment and the wealth that your home has created for you, that's what we do every day with people. My team and I will sit down and talk to people and help them determine, how do you want to live and what do you want your lifestyle to look like? Right. Because that's what your house is about.
That's what the house is about. So let me ask you this. Do you want to go to John? John, let's go. John, really quickly, do you have a question?
You're missing the big point of everything. How's your health?
Health is fine.
It's his head that's not fine.
It's my head. Thanks, John. It's my head. It's my head. She knows I'm crazy. Ladies, last words, Deborah Morton of the agency Atlanta.
You get to choose the community you live in. You get to contribute to your community. So create the community that you want, but be purposeful and intentional about it. And your home is just one part of your whole lifestyle.
We'll be back next week. If you did not get through or you have a question for Deborah, please give her a call. Send her an email at InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. You can email Deborah there. She is the expert. Until next week, my sister.
It's always fun. Love y'all. See you next week.
See you next week.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because Asana is where humans and AI coordinate work together. AI can spot roadblocks and assign work in a snap, so everything and everyone stays on track. That's how work gets handled. That's Asana. Visit us at asana.com. That's ASANA.com. Asana.